Welcome to NinjaCast, a photography podcast powered by Studio Ninja, the world's highest rated business management app, built specifically for photographers. Listen and learn as the most successful photographers on the planet share their knowledge to help you transform every element of your photography business. Here's your host, Sally Shaw.
Hi guys, welcome to NinjaCast. Today I'm joined by the phenomenal Mark Rossetto. Mark is an incredible business coach to photographers all over the world. Today he's going to be talking about how photographers just coming into the industry can establish themselves in the market, how photographers already established in the industry can set, meet and exceed their business goals, and finally why Mark thinks that every photographer should have a CRM. Let's get started. Hi Mark, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
That's all right. Different time zones, different parts of the world, but you're starting your day and I'm finishing mine. It's awesome.
I know, absolutely. We're getting like all sides of it today.
Totally.
I love it. So Mark, for our listeners out there who might not have heard of your name before or want to know a little bit more about you, can you just delve into your past, your present, talk about your journey so far?
Yeah, cool. So my name's Mark Rossetto. I'm a double master photographer with the AIPP. International speaker. I've done some speaking events at WPPI, SWPP, NZIPP, AIPP, and a lot of other PPs around the world. So I've ran a successful photography business that was based in Melbourne. We used to photograph about 500 family portraits a year and about 20 weddings as well. I had a team of 3, which was really cool, but didn't start there. I started working from home, from a garage, just like everybody else does. I did my first portfolio building shoots out of a warehouse, and with those images, I built my studio at home in a garage for 18 months. Within 18 months, I outgrew that space and moved into 150 square metres in prime real estate location in Brighton, Victoria. Where the first year we turned over about $180,000, and then from years after that we were cracking way over the $500,000 with a team of 3, which was awesome. I love what I do, super passionate, but had a bit of a life change in 2015 and sold the business to my amazing studio manager, where I then moved to Queensland with the family, and now I'm a full-time photography business coach. I'm a qualified life coach and NLP practitioner, and I work with photographers all around the world to help them build sustainable photography businesses to suit them, their personality, their lifestyle, their business models, help them with price list and also products and workflow. But marketing is my favorite. Marketing, I could just talk about marketing all day because I think marketing is super fun, where most photographers think it's more fun stabbing themselves in the eye with a spoon than having to go to market.
Absolutely. I am one of those photographers.
Pretty much. So that's where I am now. Lots of coaching, lots of working with photographers everywhere.
Amazing. So let's delve into that a little bit more. So what made you go from photographer, owner, director of a studio that was thriving, to jump into business coach?
That is a very good question. So, and I get that a lot. It's like, why would you leave that? And it's like, you know what? If you had told me that I would just sell enhanced studios and move interstate, I would have been like, you were kidding yourself. But I've always really loved to teach. I've always wanted to be a teacher, and I love helping people and I love inspiring people. And I really struggled to do photography and coaching at the same time. It was just too much of a head kick. We had a young family. Levi was quite young, and then we had another little girl, Lily, as well. And then life got pretty tough with my wife and working and lifestyle from a family point of view, and she really missed her mum and the family and wanted to move back to Queensland. And it was just a big life-shifting change. It all happened quite quickly. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I love being a photographer. I love the business, and I'm just super passionate about it. Now I just get to share that information with you guys around the world instead. Because I'd like, for you to be as successful in your business, like, it's just like your success is my success. As much as that sounds like the biggest that just sounds so daunting. But it's like, you know, like it's a really awesome kind of feeling. So yeah.
Absolutely. So we've pretty much got the guru on with us right now. So I'm really going to pick your brains in this episode, Mark.
Go for it, Sally. Knock yourself out. Try me.
Nothing you would have been asked before, I'm sure. So, Mark, how come photographers that are just starting out, you know, you were there all those years ago where you launched this business. A lot of photographers start out and they're hoping for the best. They hope that it works. So from your point of view, how can they establish themselves in the market? Where do they begin?
Yeah, so the main part is that you photograph what you love. If you love photographing people or babies or personal branding or shoot, like, you know, you've got to be passionate about your business either way. But then learn the craft of the photography, like know your lighting, know your skills, know your camera, know your computer. And then it's kind of like, okay, now I need to learn my business part of thing, where there's so much resource out there, and I'll talk about the resources afterwards, but there's so much resources out there. But whenever I speak to anybody about any business, I always say, start from the bottom and work your way up. So always photography first, then your business model, products and price list. You need to make sure you've got the right business model with the right price list, with the right products to suit your brand and style. You need a website, because when finally someone finds you, they will look up your website. Do you really need a website, or is Instagram enough, or Clubhouse enough, or Facebook? As a business professional, yes, you do. Especially if you want to charge a proper charging rate. Once you've got your website, work on your workflow, understand your client journey, and this is where Studio Ninja comes into it enormously, with a workflow that's really quality, professional, that looks like you know what you're doing even though you might not know what you're doing. Make sure that client experience is flowing really well, and make sure that you can take your inquiry through to a booking, through to a shoot, do an amazing shoot, then through to your design consult where you're selling your artwork, to actually producing products. And there are people like yourself, Studio Ninja, and your labs, and all these amazing photography industry software suppliers that are just here to back you and help you. And there's a lot to choose from, but make sure you got the right one that suits you and your business and your flow as well.
Fantastic. And then where do they, so they've got all of their systems in place, they've got their key photography skills in place, they're feeling like they're getting there now, you know, they've got a business, they're starting to roll with it. Where do they start with getting leads, and what do they charge? Where do they begin with that process?
Okay, well, like any photographer starting out, you start in the friend zone. Family and friends, photographing family and friends. You know you've made it as a photographer when you're out of the friend zone and you're into random inquiries that you've never even heard of them or spoken about. But how do you get out of that zone? So I guess depending on the genre you have, if you're a wedding photographer, go to your industry nights, go to your venues, go to your vendors, go to your expos, go on forums, go to be omnipresent in your business and connect with other wedding suppliers and people within your area. And, you know, it might take a little bit of time. You might need to assist a photographer. I worked with Nick and also Jerry Dionis for 4 years at Excite. And I loved working with them because I learned so much of a photography-wise, but also a business-wise, and how to be that professional photographer and personality as well. So get around other photographers who you want to look up to and you admire and you want to mimic. So you don't want to copy them, because you don't want to be a copycat. But, you know, if you're hanging around them, like iron sharpens iron. If your portrait and your wedding and your personal branding, your networking groups are fantastic, your Facebook groups are fantastic. There's 3 marketing strategies. Your passive marketing is being seen in the marketplace. Your active marketing is actively getting your clients, and your digital marketing will amplify to get your clients, and working them together. Because you can have the best Facebook ad ever written by amazing copywriters, and you could spend $1,000 on a Facebook ad. But if you've got a shocking website, or you've got no audience, doesn't matter. And then we know those other photographers that have a massive audience and they don't need a market at all because their passive marketing and their social media does all for them. So it's a bit of a mix depending on what you're doing.
Absolutely. Marketing is a huge juggling act, isn't it? I think that's often why so many photographers just think, my mind's blown, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. Well, I've got this little map, a little journey map for marketing specifically.
Oh, fantastic.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that bit. A little special something for you later.
Love it. Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark, let's talk sales funnels, because I know, certainly over here in the UK, it isn't a technique or a process that a lot of photographers would even think about going through or considering. So can you start by explaining what a sales funnel is, why photographers may want to use one, and how they can create one?
Sales funnels are super important. Just think about anything that you've ever purchased in your life. You have gone through the buying cycle, aka sales funnel. But to simplify it more, think about finding your partner, going on a date. When you go on a date or you find someone that you really like, you generally don't go out for dinner straight away because that is a bit awkward. You've just met them. It's like, no, I don't want to go out for dinner for you. I don't know who you are. Similar to a photographer. Well, do you have a person that you meet and go, can I photograph your wedding? They're like, no, I don't even know who you are. You've got to warm up. So a sales funnel is like a date. A date starts at the water cooler. It starts at the coffee. It starts at the bar. And you do that a few times. And then if that goes well, you go for breakfast. And if that goes well, you might do a lunch as well. And if that goes really well, you go dinner. And if dinner goes well, then we all know what happens after dinner. Dessert. So think of that sales funnel as a funnel for your photography lead or a client. A cold lead needs to be warmed up. They need to know who you are and what you shoot and what you're passionate about and what your personality is, and will you click? Will you get along? Do you know what you're doing? Are you award-winning? Are you not award-winning? Have you shot weddings before? Have you been to that location? Have you photographed babies? Do you know how to wrap it? Like, they want to know these things, so they've got to warm up to you. And once they've warmed up to you, that's when they're a warm lead. And then creating an active marketing campaign, as I mentioned before, can be the tripwire to making them a hot lead to get the booking in. So yes, there's a sales funnel in everything, right? Like that, from a cold lead and going through the system. But be careful with things like ClickFunnels, because a ClickFunnel is just a software wrapping itself around a system. That sales funnel is exactly the same as what you can build on your website if you have the right plugins and your flow. But old school marketing, your funnel's like this, lots of branches, getting lots of leads. When they're there, excite, delight, educate, and entertain your clients. That will create desire, that they want you, that will create that urgency, and then have an offer that they can't refuse, and that is your sales funnel. How's that for an explanation?
Absolutely. I think my mind's just been blown.
Is that a bit too early in the morning to talk about it? And don't worry about it.
No, we're real good. We're real good. So photographers that, they've listened to this and they've gone, okay, I need a sales funnel. What's the first steps they need to take? Where do they need to go after this episode to start that process? Start
the sales funnel. Passive marketing. Get out into your community and network and connect with people. Do not be invisible. You can run the best campaign and have the best photography and have the most amazing studio, but if you don't have an audience, you're falling on kind of deaf ears. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you're known in the community and you network, you Facebook, you meet your vendors, you go to third party, start with people that you know, and start to get known in the community. Very simple passive marketing is if you have a uniform and your photographs say pets and you're a dog photographer and you own a dog and you live in the UK because it's freezing, you put your jacket on with your beanie and your jacket has got a brand on it of you. So when you're walking at the dog park and things, people start to recognize and see you, because when you have that active marketing campaign at that fundraiser or that event, they're like, oh, I've seen that, bro. Oh, she's the one that's got that dog that she goes to walking down the Thames all the time. I know exactly who she is. And you bridge that gap. So I guess that's how you start to create it.
Fantastic, that's amazing. So photographers, you know, we've kind of covered, they've come into the business, they've started in the industry, they've got their business. They're probably going to start wanting to set some goals now. You know, they want to be pushing themselves. So how can photographers A, start to set goals? What's realistic when you're starting in the industry? And B, how do they strive to meet and exceed those?
Yeah, have a bit of a business plan and a game plan. Where do you want to be? So before I started my business, before I even took a photo of my clients at the warehouse and then moved into my house, I knew my house was a temporary fit. I always wanted a photography studio, like a commercial space. So I know that I needed a shooting room, a design room, an office, a foyer. Like I knew what I wanted, and I knew I wanted at least a team of 2. You see, I worked for a studio in the UK. I didn't tell you this part. No. We used to turn over £1 million a year in family portraits. So I knew what the system was. I knew how it worked. I know the system. I just did that in Australia. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you've got that goal in mind, this is where I want to go to. See, whether you've got a business of 50,000 or 100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million, you still come up with the same issues. You still need a camera. You still need a computer. You still need to go to market. You still need leads. You still need to get on the phone. You still need a really good CRM. See what I did there? And you need to be organized. The only difference is you're not looking after 1-2 clients a week. You're looking after 6 clients a week. You're looking after 15 clients a week. It's just growth and amplified, but essentially it's the same thing, but bigger or smaller, depending on your business, if you're working from home or a commercial space. The principles are the same. The methods are different.
Absolutely, definitely. And the journey of setting goals, lots of photographers may not know where to start in terms of what goals are realistic, or what goal, you know, what even is a goal for a photographer in this industry. What would you say to those people?
So try to structure goals. So if you're a wedding photographer, for me, I didn't work on a Sunday shooting a wedding. That was just my rule. It's a family day. I'm not working on a Sunday, hence one of the reasons why we moved to Queensland.
Yeah.
So that means at least 4 Saturdays in a month. I don't want to work every Saturday, and there's a wedding season. So I'm like, you know what? 20 weddings a year, that's enough. I'm good with 20 weddings a year. And then it's like, right, I don't want to work every Thursday, Fridays, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night in the portraits. I'm only going to do 1 night a week. And I'm only going to open my studio from Thursday to Friday, and I'm going to shoot like, you know, by doing that, it kind of determines how many shoots you can have. How many weddings do you really need? Now, if I've got 20 weddings with an average of $5,000 a wedding, is that going to be enough to cover my books, cover my time, cover my lifestyle? No? Okay, well, what can I do Monday to Friday to bring up the money a bit? So having that understanding of what you want to achieve out of you and your business and your lifestyle is really important as well.
Definitely. So starting with kind of what you want your business to look like is really the start of achieving those goals.
Yeah, and this is why COVID was amazing. As much as COVID sucks, you get to rewrite the rule book. You get to press the reset button. You can almost redesign your entire business, and no one can say nothing about it because you are in control.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's had definitely over here in the UK, we're still going, but everyone's had a good year of, that downtime. And, we're heading for a year now since our first lockdown in March of 2020. So, and we're still kind of in one a little bit at the moment now. We've got still restrictions in place. So definitely that's such a good point that, people can redesign their business, do whatever they want to do going forward for weddings.
And just a really quick story on that. In-person sales via Zoom is almost a norm now. Yeah. But also, it created an opportunity. So I've got a coaching client of mine. Photographing now is a volume game of 15 shoots a week. which is really quite high, like that's high, even if you did 10 shoots a week. Her salesperson does all of her calls via Zoom in a different state, who's just a friend of hers who's a photographer that lives in a different state. But for her clients, it's in the same room. Now, what does that mean for her business? She can take on 3 or 4 more shoots. That photographer friend who's struggling because they're in lockdown and can't shoot is their design consult. As long as the room looks pretty behind them, that's who she works for.
That's fantastic.
And it just opened an opportunity where you'd never think about that in 2019. It was like, no, you have to come into the studio so you can look at the products and pick them up and touch them and, all that type of stuff. Yeah. Change the game completely. Absolutely. It's awesome.
Do you think that it'll change going forward? Do you think it's going to stay kind of integrated?
Oh, totally integrated. Yeah, totally. It's like we got a chance to rewrite the rule book. Business will never be the same again, for lots of good reasons and lots of bad reasons. But pros and cons, like from a photography point of view, we get to, if you were to start your business again, what would you do? This is your opportunity.
Absolutely, definitely. So, Mark, I know that you're quite an advocate of using a CRM as a photographer. So why should photographers out there use a CRM themselves?
Yeah, look, organisation is just the key. I started off with like 3 folders. These aren't the folders, but I started off with 3 folders. One folder was my leads, one folder was my shoots coming up, and the other folder was my production. And that's how I used to organise that was my CRM, I can't even think of something funny, CRM. That's how I used to organise it. And then what happened, I used to have to send out a contract that you have to send by PDF, that they have to print, then I have to sign, then I have to take a photo or scan it back and send it to me. And then I had to send them my business number to make the payment through there. And I had to send, and I had to go back and for my payment gateway. And it was just like an absolute nightmare. And don't even get me started on Post-it notes. And then I spent every Friday entering into a sales kind of database of who my sale was and how much it was and how much they owed and how much I needed and where they were at. It was just a pain in the ass. So having a CRM for me is like, from a photography point of view, you own a camera, you learn Photoshop, you've obviously got a computer, you get a CRM. And don't wait, and I can't stand that, drives me nuts with I don't really need it yet. I'm not busy enough yet. When you're too busy, you don't even have time to implement what you need. Right. And maybe what you think you don't need it yet, but you really do. Because if you can have it all in Studio Ninja, where you can just send them the link and it's got their contract and a questionnaire and contract, questionnaire and a payment, and a click of a button, and it looks professional and clean and branded, and your diary's linked to Google, and it's organized, and everything's in the one spot, and I know how much money I've got, and I know how much money is coming, and I know where my leads are coming from, and I've integrated my contact form into my website, so everything's in the one spot. And this is a tip: if you're on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all roads should lead to your contact form, so it's all organized. It's imperative. Like, if you want to run a successful photography business that looks and feels professional and be able to sleep at night, you need a good CRM rather than going, I had to call someone. Where did they come from? Did I get that payment? Hey, Sally, yeah, it's Mark. Just wanted to see that we've got a balance left of this. And they're like, no, I paid that like 2 weeks ago. And you're like, oh, yeah. Did you? Oh, yeah, you did. And you're like, I don't know at all. Like, takes away the guesswork. Yeah,
absolutely, definitely. So how important is Studio Ninja to running your business? Because obviously you're not a photographer anymore, but Studio Ninja is still a big part of it for you.
Yeah, I use Studio Ninja as a daily basis. I use it for all that it's worth and everything about it. It's hugely important. And I guess, you could say, well, why did you use Studio Ninja though? Like, you could have chosen any CRM out there. Well, I did. I didn't choose Studio Ninja first. I didn't want to use it because I was like, I'm not too fast. I'm going to go to another one. I won't say what it was, but it was another one that was
there are
a bigger one,
available.
a bigger one out there, right? They've been around for longer, bigger, and more powerful, right? 3 months of learning it, putting in the software, putting the information, putting in the data, 3 months of trying to work out this super powerful system. And it's not even powerful. It's one of your competitors. 3 months and I'm like, I can't work this out. It did not work with my brain in the slightest. I'm like, I'm going to Studio Ninja. Studio Ninja, 3 days, I'm up and running. The ease of it is amazing. And I use this example when I've got my coaching clients and photographers that I'm teaching about CRM. I kind of say this. Studio Ninja is like what's the iMovie for the Mac. Clean, simple to use, very basic, template. It's got enough power to do exactly what you need it to do. The other CRM is like Adobe Premiere. It will give you so much customization, you will have a field day forever. But end of the day, how easy is it to use iMovie compared to Adobe Premiere? And then at the end of the day, they're still going to produce a movie, aren't they? And it's going to be able to do everything that you need it to do and press play and have sound and audio. So Studio Ninja is powerful enough to do exactly what we need it to do within the photography industry, to do everything that we need it to do to run a successful photography business without being bogged down with software and complication. Yes, there are some more powerful systems. It's like Photoshop. How much of Photoshop do you really use? Maybe 10%. It's like Lightroom, kind of 10%. Big, powerful system. How much do you use? 10%. Are you clouded with everything else and spend months trying to work it out? Yeah. Studio Ninja, I use probably like 75, 80% of it. I use virtually everything in it because it's all applicable and it's awesome and it's so easy to set up. I can set up now a photographer within about 3 hours. Within 3 hours, you're off and running. Don't have to think about it anymore. And that's why I love Studio Ninja. It's just so practical.
Love it. Love that. That's fantastic. So, Mark, if you could start your business all over again, I know that we've touched on it a little bit already. Is there anything you could do differently? Probably not.
Like, you know, I had the experience from other photography studios working with them in the past, so I had a really solid foundation of what to do. I just needed to go do it. I had an awesome business coach who was not a photography business coach, just a business coach for 2 years. I spent $1,000 a month for 2 years on this guy. Best money I ever spent. I learned everything I need to get up and running. My question to him when I became a coach as well, I called him after years. I was like, hey, what was I like as a student? Like, what was I like to coach? He goes, Mark, you knew what you needed to do. I was just a professional handholder. You knew what you had to do, just gracefully sending me through. Having the big studio was awesome. I loved it, every part of it. Probably one of the biggest key part is get around the photography community. They've been there, they've done that, they've tried and they've kind of tested. I'm a big advocate for the AIPP because of that community. Well and truly before Facebook and social media came out, that was our family. That was our industry nights, our education, connecting with people. And you could call someone and go, hey, I need a hand with this. Can you help me? And they would say, sure. And the best part about these days is that there's so much education, but help. You can find out anything from anyone just like that. If you have a question, pop it on the Studio Ninja page. Someone will answer it. Somewhere in the world, someone will be awake and they will answer it.
Yeah, definitely. There's all around the world in that group.
that's invaluable. That's priceless right there. So in terms of what would I do differently? Probably not much. Really happy with how the journey turned out, but I had really good people around me from the very start.
Amazing. That's fantastic. And if you can add one final piece of advice, maybe something that made the biggest impact in your business or your personal life, what would that one piece of advice be?
What would that be?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Just one piece of advice to so make a difference. Create the business to suit you and your lifestyle. Like, there is no rule book. There is no right or wrong. There is no, you have to do it like this. And if you want to run a successful business, you've got to do it like this. And you have to use click funnels, and you have to do sales funnels, and you have to do third party. There's like, you don't have to do anything. There are so many ways to run a photography business. There is a quote. I'll give you a quote. I like this quote. It makes sense. The quote is this: as to methods, there may be a million and then some, but principles are few. The man who grasps the principles can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries the methods ignoring the principles is sure to have trouble. Harrington Edmondson, early 20th century efficiency engineer.
Love that.
Which kind of means, like, as a photographer, it's really not that hard. You have equipment. You take pretty photos. You find clients to take pretty photos of. You sell your artwork to those clients. It's actually really easy. So the principle's the same. Someone's going to get married. They're going to do getting ready photos. They're going to get married as a ceremony. There's going to be location photos. There's going to be a reception, and they're probably going to get an album or wall art or something. There's no surprises here. It's all the same stuff, but the methods are so different. Pick the method that suits you and your personality and your lifestyle.
Amazing. I love that advice. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So if our listeners would like to find out a little bit more about you, get in touch about your coaching, and just come and have a chat with you, how can they do that?
Best way is to go to markrossetto.com. Jump on there. I've actually an 8-part video series for free on the front page where you can just download that and find out some cool information on how to build a successful photography business. I like to hang out at Facebook is my hangout place. The Photography Business Coach. Definitely jump on there and join that group, and that's where I hang out quite a lot. If you do have any questions about business and marketing and systems and workflow, and you're already a Studio Ninja member, ask a question in Studio Ninja platform and tag my name in. I'll jump on in. I'll give you a hand. But if you do need any help with coaching from a one-to-one point of view, or I've got this thing called sprint classes, which is just like coaching specifically designed for different areas within your business, like business models and products and prices, shooting for success, master your marketing, supercharge your websites, calls that convert, systems and workflow mastery, photography business benchmark. There's all these different courses out there that you can do to help grow your business. And if you get stuck and you don't know what to do, just reach out and say hi. How about I give you a special offer? Would you like something for free to give to people?
I love something for free.
Free stuff. Okay, I'm going to give you a course called the Photography Business Benchmark. What it is, it's a wheel that looks something like this. And it's your business divided into 8 different key areas. And those 8 different key areas, I go through heaps of hints and tips. And what we're going to do is look at your business holistically. And you could be an awesome photographer, but if you suck at marketing, you're going to struggle. You could be an awesome marketer, but if you suck at talking to people, you're going to struggle. And it looks at your business holistically in the 8 core areas. And you rate your own business, but I give you heaps of hints and tips and ideas and direction to help you out. I'll give you that for free. I'll give you a little coupon code too, so you can just...
Amazing. So for anybody listening to this, if you head over to the studioninja.co website /podcast, you will be able to jump right on in Mark's podcast here and find the code there.
Awesome.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time today, Mark. You've shared so much knowledge with everybody. I have learned heaps, so I know that everybody listening will do. So thank you so much.
That's right. It was the water cooler thing, wasn't it?
You learned about
No, always a pleasure to help. Happy to help the Studio Ninja community. It's an awesome software. If you guys aren't on it, you should be. If you are on it, you already know the power and how awesome it is, how it changes your life and your business and your structure. So yeah, happy to help, happy to be here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. Hopefully we'll catch you again soon.
Awesome. See you soon.
See you later. Bye. Okay, guys, that's everything from me today. Thank you so much again to Mark for joining us on the show. I absolutely loved every second, and I've learned so much about what I need to do with my business. If you'd like to see the show notes, you can head to www.studioninja.co/episode 27. Please don't forget to rate us on the podcast platform that you're listening on. A little bit of love goes a very long way. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of NinjaCast, brought to you by Studio Ninja. Beautifully designed and super easy to use, Studio Ninja will help you manage your leads, clients, shoots, invoices, contracts, workflows, and so much more. To learn more or start your 30-day free trial, go to www.studioninja.co.